Learn to find it in doing your duty, in serving your people. There is no need to search for it. Shall we move on?
Let's go.
As you wish.
Something on your mind? What say you?
What's on your mind?
Have you changed your mind?
I have watched you for a time, and perhaps I was wrong. There seems to be something special between the two of you. I think she feels she's truly found her place with you. That after all her wanderings, she's finally home.
I feel the same way.
I think I was too harsh in my judgment before, and I am sorry.
You wanted the best.
What you have may not last forever. Death and duty may part you, but love's worthiness is not diminished because of that. I should have seen this before. Instead, you learn to cherish every precious moment that you spend together, knowing that it may be the last. And for those of us watching, well, it brings warmth to these old bones to know that something so beautiful can be found in the midst of chaos and strife. What's on your mind?
Are you feeling better now?
Oh, yes, and thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better today.
Please let me know if there's anything I can do.
Well, thank you for your kindness, my dear. It certainly warms these rickety old bones. What's on your mind?
I was thinking about being a Grey Warden.
Is something troubling you?
No.
You are one of the 2 surviving Grey Wardens in Ferelden. You defend all of us, and much rests on your shoulders. It may not mean much to you, but thank you for having the courage to continue to fight.
I will be ready.
And that gives me hope. Have you heard much about the Grey Wardens of old?
I know they were more respected in the old days.
It was said that watching the Wardens ride in on their white griffins was enough to rouse a weary heart and put the dance back in the step of an old man. The Grey Wardens were powerful, feared and respected, but they also inspired the common people. I remember a tale that was told to me many years ago.
Go on.
The Blight had ravaged the land for months, and the armies of the great kings had amassed for one last stand. As the sun burst through the clouds that boiled and churned in the dark sky above, it illuminated a vast, seething horde of darkspawn, with the archdemon at its head. And it was then, when courage seemed to fail, and all lost to death and despair, that the Grey Wardens came. They arrived with the beating of wings like mighty war drums and stood before the armies of men.
What happened then?
The Grey Wardens, grim and fearless, marched forth, ever between the men and the encroaching darkspawn. They formed a shield of their own bodies and held that line until the archdemon was dead and the last darkspawn lay trampled in the dirt. And then, demanding neither reward nor recognition for their sacrifice, the Grey Wardens departed. When the clouds finally rolled back and the sun shone full upon the blighted ground, the great kings knew that they had lost no men, and none of their blood had been spilled.
When did this happen?
This is a tale about no battle the Grey Wardens have fought, and yet about them all. They have always defended us from the Darkspawn, taking losses so we do not have to. People may have forgotten over the centuries, but nothing has changed. This knowledge has been blessing and burden to Grey Wardens past, and now it shall be your blessing and your burden. What's on your mind? No, you won't.
I don't think I was ever meant to be normal.
I don't think so either. You would not have been happy living a dull, uneventful life, dying in obscurity. You wonder sometimes, don't you? If your life would be better if you weren't who you are.
No.
I didn't. Not for a long time. When I was a young woman in the tower, I came to the realization that the circle would be my life, and I would know no other. Family, love, a simple life. These were things that others took for granted, that I would never have.
Grass is always greener.
It made me very moody. All I could think of was being trapped in that tower with no way out and no end in sight. I started hating my life and myself, and one night I found myself in the tower's chapel. I was seeking refuge, maybe answers.
Did you find anything?
I must have looked tearful or made some noise, because the revered mother came out and decided to speak to me. And because I had no one else to talk to, I talked to her. I must have said many silly things, but she told me that the Maker puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish.
I think she's right.
I thought the old biddy was full of rubbish. I was 15, maybe 16, and I knew everything. So I left, but I always found my way back to that chapel. And as the years passed, I began to see the truth of her words. We were supposed to be polar opposites, mage and priest. But we weren't. There was much about us that was the same.
I suppose the priests have part to give up to.
The revered mother had lived in the chantry all her life, as I had been in the tower for all of mine. She taught me that you can find your family in the people around you, that you can love your work and find fulfillment in duty. And there is joy even in self-sacrifice. If you put others before yourself, then their well-being is yours, and their happiness is your happiness.
It won't be easy to live that way.
You can scream and cry and be angry about life as a Grey Warden, or you can accept it and allow yourself to see the good in it. This is your choice. What's on your mind?
On your order, Grey Warden. The Jarl was generous, but rushed. Certain areas could see improvement. We're a mercenary force, Warden. Much of our equipment is self-financed. Were you to commit additional funds, we'd upgrade as we saw the need. You witnessed the rarest of things, Warden. The Dalish stand ready to defend Ferelden. We have assembled on a short schedule. Certain factors of equipment could be better. Crafting components would serve best. Basic ones like elf root and deep mushroom.
The Circle of Magi stands ready to assist, Grey Warden, as do the Templars of the Chantry. There are always areas to improve on, Grey Warden. The most useful for my talents are runes.
Enchantment? Enchantment!
Let's go. Enchantment. Okay, I gotta speak to Morrigan.
I await your command. So,
That's it. Let's go do this before we,
Indeed.
Yes.
I'll just, you know, just a hop and a skip.
You have coin, fine weapon and arms.
Back off! I was here first.
You haven't seen a sword lying around here, have you?
Why, you looking to buy one?
Only if it's a Gennari blade.
Q what?
It's probably large and unwieldy.
Well, honestly, I don't have any swords. The spot was picked pretty clean when I got here. I got part of a glove the wolves didn't chew too badly, though. I think it was a glove, anyway. I know, don't say it. I got cheated. I knew the guy who was here before me. He sold me this spot. Said he found giants and all kind of crazy valuables. He didn't mention that he'd taken everything but the bones and the dirt already. His name's Ferrin. Squirrely little bastard, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I said it anyway. He was going to Orzamar, he said. I imagine he's gotten there by now. If you find him, tell him I sent you. It'll scare the piss out of him. Ha!
What? That was an explosion. I've never heard one.
Very well. It is begun. Again.
I paid a ransom for a
There's
trade
civil
permit.
war. What
They
will
can't
happen
do
to us?
this. How am I supposed to live with no crafts to sell?
They need us.
I'll be ruined.
The gate stays closed.
Step right, maker's breath. Oh, beg your pardon, friend. You, startled me a bit. You've, heard of me?
Where is my sword?
I don't know what you mean, sir.
I'd give it to him if I were you, Foreign.
I don't have it. I swear by Andraste's knickers. I sold it on the way here.
Who'd you sell
A
it to?
dwarf near Redcliffe. Dwyn, I think his name was.
Thank you. Wait, Dwayne,
He's
I know.
the one who has the sword, I promise you. Said he was a collector.
We'll see.
Alright, and before we go to Orzamar, let us settle Sten's sword bit. Head down the old Imperial Highway.
I'm still amazed we made it through the night in one. Fighting's not over. We still have Darkspawn to battle, and if the Arl sends out the call...
I could use good commander myself.
No offense, but I've lived under the Arl my whole life. I'll fight when he calls me, or when I absolutely need to, and that's it. If you'll excuse me, I think I'll offer the Maker a bit of thanks for not choosing to be a wrathful god today. Good luck to you.
Oh shit, his ass was just waiting there for me. Let me check this janitor's board.
Phew, some fight. Reminds me why I left Orzamar in the first place.
You're all still alive? Lucky.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Go celebrate or whatever it is you're gonna do. You won, right? You're a hero, or something.
I already won.
Go celebrate or whatever you have to do.
I'm looking for the Konari sword you bought.
Now, why would you be interested in that?
It's mine.
You know, Farron didn't mention the giant he took it from was alive.
Name your... Why don't you give up the sword and we'll go.
Excellent idea. It's in my strongbox. Here's the key. Now, why don't you leave me alone?
Strange. I had almost forgotten it. Completion. Are you sure you are a Grey Warden? I think you must be an Ashkari to find a single lost blade in a country at war.
You're welcome, Stan.
I would thank you for this, if I knew how. And I could deliver a much more satisfying answer to the Arishok's question if the Blight were ended. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Then lead the way. Vashaden.
Yes.
Blast and damnation.
Yes.
Once I go into Orzamar, I'm gonna bring Shale. And I didn't want to bring Morrigan. Fuck, but maybe I should. A mage is nice. Liliana's kind of useless, I won't lie. She always goes down first. Oh, great. What event's loading right here?
Very well. I shall do it. It is begun.
Our Leman sends his regards, Warden. We're trying to keep the roads clear.
I'm just gonna be bringing a fucking golem to Orzamar.
You hear about those hunters from Oswin? The Regent's strumming up foxes.
Oh, you wish to talk to me? Truly, it's a courtesy for one so well-armed to notice a lowly merchant.
You live on the surface?
Someone has to. Trade with other races can dry up. We surfacers are Orzamar's lifeline. Even if we're denied a caste, the Assembly says we've turned our back on the stone. but they still use the goods we bring. Hypocrites.
That's not right. Someone should do something.
Maybe it'll change by the time my children are grown.
How often do you restock in
Twice a
Orzamar?
year. I'm confined to a trade stall in the Commons, but I see enough. It's very closed in. My grandfather says I've lost my stone sense. I was born topside. I don't remember having it.
I
Best
should go,
of
I
luck to
guess.
you.
I want to buy stuff, but
King Loghain will not suffer the delay of his appointed messenger.
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
Wiper, Orzamar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
I have urgent need to talk to your king.
Who doesn't? If I don't get in, no one should.
Orzamar has no king. Endrin Idukan returned to the stone not 3 weeks ago, sick over the loss of his sons. The Assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
I am a Grey Warden. This treaty obliges Orzamar to aid me.
The Wardens killed King Cailan and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the Royal Seal. That means only the Assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And a foreigner? In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
Run to your false king. The dwarves will not hear of him today.
You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzamar, Grey Warden. Though I don't know what help you will find.
A trust follow.
Red.
Please, I remember right. The best of their ancestors.
For an old man. Show respect, Surfacer. You're in the Hall of Heroes, home to the best of us.
The figures are quite grand indeed.
Paragons, dwarves who achieve such greatness, they're considered ancestors even if they yet walk among us. If only we had one now. A unifier. A voice like that, there would be no dissension.
So perhaps I can
Perhaps
help.
I don't want you to. A Surfacer should not see us in this kind of disarray. Goodbye, Warden. I hope you're not needed.
I find it very odd. It meaning me? Am I in it now too? I feel honored.
For one who professes to be a warrior, I find it remarkably weak-willed and indecisive.
Thank you?
It also likes to hide its many weaknesses behind a veil of jocularity.
For a statue, you know a lot of big words.
Is there a reason it enjoys following others so much? Especially when it is in a position to lead.
Have you ever been responsible for someone else's life? Or a lot of other lives? Or an entire nation?
Of course not.
Then shut up.
I will remember this moment when the birds come.